Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to East versus West.
Welcome, everybody, to another Sunday night casual where I'll be here, your host, Dexter, CEO of EVW Sports, and shoot me with questions. And I have a couple of interesting updates that people probably want to hear. So, very quickly, the first question I'm seeing is what happened to Travis Bajan? Is he not in anymore? Oh, no. That's far from the truth. That is not accurate. He is in. It was just, trying to shuffle around new commentators and changing things up a little bit here and there. And sometimes it's a scheduling issue. But yeah, so he Robert is still in good contact with Travis. He's still very much in. Not a problem. Now, obviously, Robert going against my advice has announced quite a bit of of matches, but obviously, Robert can do whatever he wants. So questions like these: Who is Sonev's opponent? Probably won't be answered, even though I know who that is. But that's not the point, though. I and I guess why people are wondering is why don't we just release the whole thing? From the thing is, you try to go 24 hours to have sort of a news cycle and commentary, right? You want everybody to be kind of talking about a certain match. Okay, so today we've announced a little bit more than we would like. And what would happen is some of the athletes will be kind of in the shadows a little bit, which is not what we want. We want like 24 hours of pure people talking about this match and nothing else. And then the next day, especially when you're so big. So that's kind of the reason why I kind of, have everybody hold back a little bit. But I mean, a lot of the main events are already been kind of announced. Now it's the Michaels and Georgi's match, and also Camille and Jerry's match. Those are the two main event. So that's why. Why two? One's vertical for people who are scrolling vertical feeds, and the other one it's horizontal, which will appear on your main feed. So there's that. King of the table done for good, or are you guys going to plan to bring it back? Okay, so this is a great question. Very, very good question, which I will pin and discuss this a little later on, because this ties into a really, really big it'll be tied to the announcement of the schedule for the 2026, at least the preliminary schedule for 2026. So everybody kind of knows exactly what date that we are having an event. So plan on taking time off, I guess, to come to our event. Yeah, so there's that. Great. MBS finally got back two days ago, officially 2 days ago. Yeah, I was in Europe for almost 3 weeks now. Yeah, so it's good to be back. Another comment is pay Alijan his 100K for Datikan match, Dexter. Well, if everybody stops pirating, then heck, I'll pay everybody $1 million. Travis, we need Travis involved. Yes, Travis is still involved. He's very much still talking to us, giving us ideas and whatnot. So discounts code will be released, I would imagine, no later than next week. So when are you releasing the Devon? Okay, so this is a good question. So we had, I'm trying to think that we had 4 cameras. We had 4 cameras capturing the Devon and Levant footage. I believe there's 4, and one of the camera, the recordings aren't with us yet. It's actually with Tina, so Coach Ray's partner, and she went back to go grab winter clothing apparently, and I just told Coach Ray, and like, dude, why did you get what did you piss off Tina that she had to leave you for a second? No, I'm just kidding. But no, point being is I'm just Ray is in charge of editing that footage. So as soon as he edits that out, that should be released. So I apologize. I was completely planning on releasing that, but it's it's not edited yet. We're missing one angle. That's all. So let's see. Any conversations about or speculations about which athlete they're polling will not be answered at this time. We're gonna keep it in suspense mode, but yes. So your uh, the, I don't know if Robert. I think Robert did mention. I was in and out. I was doing my own thing, but I was just listening in the background. But I know Robert mentioned schoolboy and recurd, and he also mentioned left and right hand. But the left hand, now this is something very, very new. The left, I think I mentioned this last week as well. This will be the first time that we'll be having a split session, the prelims and the main event. Okay. And the prelims would have 3 matches. There will be 3 matches that would be on the pay-per-view, plus it will also be on the YouTube, our YouTube main channel. So that way people can at least get to watch how cool our event. How I'm 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 pretty sure the venue is gonna be packed. Production is gonna be top notch, as you've seen in Switzerland, right? So I'm confident that this time production will be flawless, flawless. Now, so with the 3 prelim matches, the one who would be sort of like the headliner for the prelims would be Schoolboy versus Ricard left, and we'll keep the right for the main event. So this is something kind of new that we are introducing. We are kind of doing this to test to see how much promotion we can get out of things, how much sort of teasers we can incite people and getting them fired up to buy the pay-per-view. So ultimately everything falls back to the whole pay-per-view motion. Some say that Ayane, oh, it's been announced. You gotta go check. Now her opponent, I know there were talks about her opponent was pulling it Arm Havoc. Well, so what ended up happening is her we are not screwing Arm Havoc at all, right? We didn't go call her back and pull her out Arm Havoc. We have an athlete who could not get a visa in time because she hasn't applied for it yet. And so we offered Arm Havoc a swap, and they were happy to do that. So just FY. So Ayane is pulling Victoria Carlson, who is very good too. So this would be let's see. Bacho versus Jordan is fun. Travis, more than he looks, Travis is actually very intelligent. I think a lot of comedians and a lot of jokesters, in my opinion, they are pretty smart because you got to be quick on your feet to make jokes. That's kind of my opinion. So, um, Travis with chill commentary would be pure gold. So that is something that I've proposed to Robert. Right now, unfortunately, because I was getting chill and until recently, until technically 2 days ago, it was kind of like almost like nailed down. Prior to that, it was kind of still up in the air whether he'll be able to make it or not. And so some of the commentators have already been assigned. Well, I've been already called. And now with Chill coming, I'm like, man, we got to swap things out and change things around because Chill and Travis, they would, that, you know, it's going to be super nuts. I think it would be super, super nuts. That's just going to have, you know, my opinion. Schoolboy record. Yeah. Let's see. Robert just dropped bombs. Yes, he just did. I'm scrolling. Good point. People, good point, Dexter. Have to entice people to buy. Yeah, Yeah, that's exactly kind of how we are doing. Merlot is pulling. Merlot is really good. Tickets, tickets. Did he decide if you can release the pass? No, we ultimately decided against that. Um, citing there is not that we don't want to give the fans, but as we still have a competitor league out there, you know, we don't want to share anything that could help them, basically. So for now, we are keeping it, you know, quiet. However, now another update about crowdfunding or sort of selling shares, we're still kind of in a limbo there. Now we do have sort of an idea how we want to approach this, but we need to structure it in a way where, you know, cer- certain things has to be all owners. We don't know if we're gonna have it in a crowdfund way, almost like a Kickstarter way, but with equity, or do you want it to be a strictly interview based, like, hey, anybody who wants to be, part owner, let's have an interview. So there'll be certain things like, okay, any information that we divulge to you has to be completely confidential, uh, along those lines, or crowdfunding way, anybody who wants to even drop $500 is now a fraction of an owner, right? So that there is that kind of method. Yet we still haven't. It will be a while because this is not like an immediate thing that I have time to work on right now. I still have, there's so many things that we're working on right now. Like I'm really pushing. Oh, you know what? Here's one thing that you guys could see. Um, let's see. Let me show you this. I am going to share the rankings. Okay. I know it's a little bit hard to see for most of you guys. So, rankings page. Now, if you guys want to just see it right now, it's not finalized. There's still a lot of things that needs to change. But if you go to evwsports.com/test page, test dash page one, you'll see what that is. It's still under review, and our, IT department is still behind on getting out everything sorted. Example, for instance, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you see like some of the are missing for the lightweight guys, but the heavyweight guys are all in. Some of the matter of fact, so one of the things we've employed is we also have, say, uh, you know, we're getting people out there to give us comments about the rankings. We inherited the rankings, from England, and it has since been a while since it was updated. So we are taking time to go through and update, and there's still a lot of disagreements internally about who should rank higher in different ways and shape and form. So that's kind of what we have to work with, right? So just throwing it out there. So take it with a grain of salt because a lot of it is completely wrong. Um, like one thing is, Ali Jan is now no longer world champion in his weight division and arm because he has been inactive. Now, obviously, there is kind of exception cases. So, another one brought up. Well, then left is also kind of stripped, but that's different because her whole weight division was inactive. It wasn't just an athlete who was inactive. So that's a little different. But since Alijan has not pulled for a year, he's been automatically stripped, and that's what it is. So I just wanted to show you guys that we are working on small things like that, right? So just throwing it out there. Oh, here you go. Yeah. So there's that. Oh, also we are finalizing our trading cards. So So a lot of things in the works, taking a lot of work. The IT department is also working on a complete database of athletes and their matches. So that would be along the lines of, say, athletes past history match, you know, what events they've attended. We are still thinking if we want to put stats down there, and you know who decides what the stats are. So a lot of things that needs to be updating. So trying to build a comprehensive site that everybody can go not you know, one stop shop essentially. uh let's see. You know, you have a good point. You so Jake I think it's Jack Daniels 9292 says you talked about not raising the pay-per-view price. What if you leave it as is but make a second pay-per-view that includes 30 minutes before and then 1 hour after the event? It will include the practice pool. I'll pay more for it. Uh not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. I'll think about this. The only thing it's it, the the initial kind of pre-show 30 minutes should be available to everybody because that helps the sale of the main event, right? So, but anything after extra, that's a really good idea. Let's see. Is Devin going to be to pull before Vitali in April? Okay, so MBS is asking, is Devin going to pull before Vitali on April, even if it's on the left? Yes. Devin will pull before his match against Vitali in April. Only question is when. And I will answer this question further when it comes to this when it comes to the topic of the schedule for 2026. So I will talk about 2026 and the venue, well, location, so people can kind of start to plan a little bit better. Benji needs Alan Fisher a match. It's EVW or nothing. That's right. All right, buddy. He's such a good guy. I did a live stream with him Friday. She lost all. We are reaching out to Smythe. Matter of fact, I think we are going to reach out to him today about setting something up for the near future for him. So I believe for now this question, Option 33 about accredited investors only. So that's the thing, right? So if it's crowdfunding, then it's not accredited investors only. But I think there is a cap of like up to $11,000. Accredited investors can put an infinite amount. So it's kind of a, you know, unsure thing, lawyer stuff. Were you guys in the black in the last event? The answer is no. No. How much in the red? Still yet to determine because some costs are coming in and everything. So not just quite yet. Not just quite yet. So yeah, rankings are cool. Thanks, AJ. So go there and check it out. It's along those lines. A lot of it still has not been updated yet. Yes, the VIPs are available right now. If you go to our page, it is available at $695. $695 per person instead of having it previously in pairs. So there's that. Let's see. Zenzu, just want to say thank you for having Ayane back. Yeah, I mean, this is and how she got back is really not me. It's you guys. When you guys bug me enough, you guys come on my Sunday show and consistently tell me how much you guys want to see somebody. Eventually, that would happen. Eventually, that would happen. So, anybody who wants to see anybody, put it out here. Put it in my chat. Not just my live chat, but my comments. That that one, it's easier for me to pay attention because right now I'm just like, boom, going through these guys super fast. Uh, Another question from Fence Foster. He says, "Are we gonna allow the King's Move now that Ingen's gone? The only reason it was ever banned and limited because Ingen once got hurt by a King's Mover. No, I. It's always been allowed. The only question is how, to what extent. So the clear answer is it depends because the rule that's being enforced and has been published to everybody is that it cannot be a declining humerus. So this part cannot be under if on a losing position. That's all it is, right? So that's clean. That's clean. Vitali is higher than Jerry, obviously. Yeah, right now he's ranked much higher. Let's see. Oh, you must be great at time management with EVW and your other business. Oh, it's never enough. It's really never enough. That's always running out of time to do things, and yeah, it is a big challenge. Okay, so Jack Daniel says the thing about rankings actually is that even if they are inaccurate at first, it will sort itself out as they pull each other. The important part is having a starting point. Yeah, this we've been working on this ranking things for a couple months now, and it feels like there was always a roadblock saying, "Oh, we need to like get it perfect, get it perfect, get it perfect." And that's why about yesterday or the day before yesterday, I'm like, okay, well, you know what, team, we're just gonna announce it. We're gonna show the world if it's wrong, it's wrong. But that will push us to really clean things up a little bit more. So that's where I'm at, which is why I'm telling everybody just check it out, see the format. We haven't gone to the women's yet, uh, technically because we don't have enough. For some categories, we don't even have enough matches to fill up the top 10. So there's that. Um, let's see. I'm not a fan of King's move to a King D mover. Like, well, that's not it. Roaring on Carnival. I don't think you have much of a competitor out there. There was probably 50 that came to their last show, and most of that was friends and family. Well, it is not competitor that I'm worried that we're so worried about. I mean, look at the Monster Factory in us, right? Literally, we are openly talking about it, right? Literally, Michael Todd is hosting an event, and a couple of weeks later, he's polling at our event. You don't see us complaining about that. The difference is how something was born, right? How something came about, right? There is a difference. It's not. It's more of a principle thing that Robert and I have a problem with. It's a matter of principle that they started in a form where it was, technically illegal. That there's no other way to put for it. So, let's see. Now, I'm very familiar with ELO. I'm very familiar with MMR. Only thing is because super matches currently at this point isn't something that you can do it frequently, and so technically speaking, right? Example. So if someone like say Devin, who is a lot more active and he pulls way more, technically his ELO rankings would put him higher than Levon, but he can never. Well, at least the past 2 times he has not beat Levon. Is he ranked number 1 over Levon just because he's more active, right? So that's why I don't. It's not just about math; it's also the application of the math. So there's that. I like the VIP pay-per-view pass. I really do. If you guys have any more ideas on what other benefit you can see from this pay-per-view, VIP pay-per-view pass, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear it. Now I'm gonna put a note down here. VIP pay-per-view pass. Oh, also a very quick update. The new system where we can give credit to content creators for purchases that through the codes and whatnot. I just got back with the team, and unfortunately we won't get it done before Atlantic City. Now the reason is because currently our system is built on WordPress, so WooCommerce, and it's just a lot more uh you know integration with this new system for payouts and everything. So for now, the first thing we need to do is actually migrate the whole system out into Shopify, right? I mean, all the big companies, even Netflix uses Shopify. So we need to migrate into to Shopify, and then we can integrate. So unfortunately, I apologize, guys. It won't happen as quick as I would like it to be. And we want to make sure that everything's smooth. There's no bugs and whatnot. Is Devin pulling left in Atlantic City? Am I supposed to say something? I can't. I cannot talk about the card. We've already had enough. Everybody should be digesting on what's happening. So, uh, is Vitaly and Devin going to be booked on both arms? At least then there's more chance, likely a chance they do pull in April. Probably not. No, no. This is not. At least this is the current plan, which is not happening. Robert's the boss. He gets to do whatever he wants. I just think we should have held back a little bit so people could really digest, Paul Lynn's announcement. Maybe one more, but once we have like bam, 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 you have all the good stuff, then some matches would be overshadowed and looked over in the Reddit discussion, for instance, right? So that's a little bit of that. But let's see, what are some new things that you are excited to introduce in the upcoming events? Are you planning to give more prizes like match of the night? One of the comments that came up on last Sunday was match of the night should be voted in instead of Robert picking the match. I'm gonna have to think about that and figure out a way to do it. You know what? I think I can figure out a way to do it. So match of the night is determined by the pay-per-view buyers. So we'll go to, we need to have a poll somewhere, and then we can see a live poll, and then that becomes match of the night. And then we'll also have sort of after the whole event's over, it's not just going to end the pay-per-view right there. It's going to have some commentary and analysis, sort of like, it's not going to be a press conference per se, because actually we could do a press conference, to be honest. See, I haven't thought about that. But yeah, that's only when we'll announce the match of the night, not prior to that. So but good thinking though. Good thinking. So it's more like a wrap up kind of event. There it is. Could you price discriminate in markets that have high piracy rates? It'd be better to get $8 than nothing. What happens is, it doesn't occur very often. The only systems that what they call geo pricing is only in system where it's very difficult it locks your account to a certain country, and it's a little bit challenging and a little bit more work to move them around. Example, say Steam. If you know what Steam is, it locks you, and you put your country, and then you pay in that local denomination. So if you're saying like, hey, I'm in Indonesia, so I pay rupiah or pesos in Mexico, and then you pay less. So it's cheaper if you register your own account in Mexico. However, when you do that, then everything might become it will turn out in Spanish, and it locks you out, and it does all sorts of weird things like that. And then you have to go switch it back. So you can't switch it back and forth. I mean, you can, but so those are the system where it makes sense. Now, in our system, if we do any sort of geo pricing, all it takes is a simple VPN to appear in another part of the world, and then allow them to get that favorable pricing, right? So which would hurt our overall sales. So unfortunately, that's not something that we do at this time. So the only ones out there that we do is for Russia, because we cannot receive Russian credit cards. So that's kind of thing. I'm actually looking into certain other markets like China, where the Chinese can't use their credit cards, doesn't work on our system. So those are the few exceptions that I'm working on. And it's not very easy for you to have access in using your VPNs to buy something from Russia anyway. So that's why I'm not it's not widely used at this time. So yeah, gold tickets, everybody. Tickets are live right now. So on EVW Sports, tickets are live right now. Can I bug you enough to get Swift on? If you bug me enough, long enough, I would never say no. I mean, Benji's doing really hard to get Alan Fisher. So Vresh, Yoshi, Mindy, Berzing. Okay. Keep bugging me. Comments. Not on the live, but after the post, when the event's when the live stream is over, it's a lot easier. So uh let's see. Oh, yeah. Back to this. Another thing that I- I'm still again, a lot of this comes with a lot of planning, a lot of research, a lot of testing to a certain degree, is that we'll be introducing a new form of translation specifically for the press conference. So press conference, one thing that I feel like it slows the energy down a little bit, sometimes quite a bit, is the translation component. And I was in Rome, right? So I was in Rome. I was touring the Vatican. I had the guided tour thing, and then it just dawned on me. So when you're part of this tour guide, everybody wears like a small little either headphones or earbud, and it's such a simple, cheap device, and it it communicates. So the tour guide, when he's walking around, it's all busy and packed. We can still hear him without him yelling on a microphone the old school way, right? So I'm like, well, so I am now doing massive amount of research to to see which equipment works best, right? Where it's a little bit more tricky because we're trying to get hooked up to our main stream as well, our live stream, but at the same time, there is going to be a lot less need to translate on the fly. Well, sorry, live in front of camera to slow things down. Okay. So if somebody's asking a question, the person does not need to repeat in front of camera. Usually it's Alex this time in Switzerland. He's not translating to the whole world and slowing things down a little bit. As soon as somebody's talking, the athletes in their ear is already getting the translated version. And it's not only translated to them about when a question or a comment is directed to them, right? Example, so one thing, like say Kanai, when he was sitting there, one thing I told his two translators who were sitting right behind him was to translate everything that's happening, okay, even though it had nothing to do with Kanai. So at least Kanai felt like he was part of the whole press conference instead of, oh, it's now you're talking to me, okay, great, and the rest of the, I don't know, 90 minutes, he's just staring at a blank wall because he doesn't know what's happening, right? So with this system, he's constantly getting the full translation of everything that's going on. So that's kind of what I'm looking at to see which system works really well without causing too much interference in our operations. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. Get Dex to do 5K. Oh, I'm not worried about you know uh subscribers at this point. If Ayane wins, you would like to see her against Sarah Backman for the number one contender for Dimitra. So sort of a way back to for a rematch. That's not bad. That is not bad. Seems like there's no way to get rankings perfect, Jacobin. You're not wrong. Everybody has its own. Well, I mean, get some part of the rankings. Like everybody is not going to argue that Levon's not number one, right? I mean that one's pretty kind of set. Unless you're one of those who say Elo's the way to go, then Levon's not number one. Maybe not. So unfortunately, but to get everything perfect, you're right. Perfect's the enemy of good. That's right. That's why I just release it and see how we can get them there. Smythe, nope, I haven't got that far yet, but I think we've started to push for an invite very, very shortly. You want to see more FA, okay? He was I sat next to him for breakfast one day, and he is actually a very nice guy. He's very low maintenance. He's very cordial, you know, and he's pretty good. He's very strong. So there's that. Let's see. Okay, thank you for checking out the rankings page. So yes, so that's exactly what we're working on right now. It's the whole athletes page, the whole portfolio, their past history, their their outcomes, and also their stats. So that's in the works, and it takes a lot because we have couple hundred athletes over the past few 4 or 5 years that's pulled. So a lot of data that needs to be inserted. So just throwing it out there. Okay, super chat time. Proving astrology. I want to see older legends pulling strong men and fitness influencers. Let's get Bob Brown and Neil Pickup on the table. I mean, technically, Bob Brown pulled Giannis at an EVW sanctioned event last Saturday. Well, not this past Saturday, but last Saturday. Neil Pickup. Well, let's ask Neil if he's interested. But I wouldn't mind. I think everybody would like to see, how because Neil was a former WAF world champion, right? So, and I know you used to be really good. So let's when I see him, I'll ask him. But so are you in the same boat as Benji about Alan Fisher as well? I guess. Let's see. Put country in that profile pop up. So if you notice right now, just so that EVW Sports, we are we're not playing politics like geopolitics. We don't care about any of those. We just focus on arm wrestling, and that's all we do, right? Unfortunately, I think with the whole war and everything, if we were to do it like WAF, where the Russians have a separate flag and the non-Russians, everybody else gets their own flag, I I feel like it's a little bit disrespectful to some of our athletes, but unfortunately, that's kind of the rules that we have to play with, and it's so in order to be completely neutral until the war is over, no flags. So no flags, but I think if we can just put country, maybe just list the country, I think that might be okay. So that's a that's I'm gonna put country list. Okay, that's good. That's good. Don't use ELO. It's way more similar to MMA. I agree. Levon hasn't lost in like 7 years. Don't doubt it, but it also matters in on the frequency, right? So technically, in my professional career, I'm undefeated in arm wrestling, but I've never pulled anybody professionally. Maybe Benji needs to train me a little bit more. He's my dude. He says I'm only about 42% of his power level at this point. And Benji just, I think his new rank is number 9 in California. So congrats Benji. Let's see, a lot of jokes here. Okay, so maybe it's about time for me to talk about our. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna share my screen. I cannot release too much information because it's not finalized yet, but I can give you rough dates for our event. Okay, I can give you rough dates for our event. So that's where I live, by the way. Let's see. I live in Salt Lake, Utah. Okay. So I cannot tell you where the exact event is until we like sign it in paper, other than the one on the 28th of February, which I can't remember how it got leaked out, but it's also not super confirmed. But So everybody gets their pen and paper out. Okay, February 28th, Vienna in Austria. Okay, it's going to be super cool, very very accessible to all the strong, crazy countries. Slovakia is there. I mean, it's not too far from Switzerland, uh, Slovenia, Romania. So that's where it is. And then it's been mentioned several times. So this is also kind of not confirmed yet because we're still working through things. We are confirming venues and sizes, and because now we know, it's going to be a big match. Devon is going to be pulling Lalatin, barring any, changes, due to unforeseen circumstances. Okay, so we have April 18 at Cologne, Germany. Okay, where is that? Cologne, Germany. Is that on the east side? Man, I can't find it. Let me just type it in. Cologne, Germany. Oh, there we go. West side. Okay. So it's going to be in Cologne, Germany about April 18. That's when FIBO's happening. So those two are kind of very solid, but not 100% yet. Well, yeah. Okay. Then you look at May 23rd. Okay. May 23rd. Now we fly all the way back to America. I cannot tell you exactly which state just quite yet, but that's kind of rough dates on May 23rd. That's what we're looking at. It might also get pushed to May 30th, but it will probably be May 23rd. Okay. So it's around either one of those 2 weeks. It'll be somewhere in America. Until we get the venue locked in, we won't announce that just quite yet, but it will be in America. And then we fly all the way back June 27. We'll go back to somewhere in Europe. I cannot tell you where in Europe, but I will tell you that it is. I'm going to put it on my screen like this. Okay. It is somewhere on my screen. It's going to be very likely to be somewhere on my screen. This region. And then August 8th, we would be going to also somewhere on my screen. And then sometime back around, let's see, end of September. Now we go all the way back to America, which I cannot tell you where it is just quite yet, but it'll be back in America. End of September. And very likely, very, 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 very likely. I mean, everybody saw how awesome Switzerland is. So around November 7th, it's when we'll go back to very likely Zurich as well. November 7th, going back to Zurich. Oh man, I should have let you guess, but no, never mind. It's very likely Zurich. And then end of this middle of December, it will be back in Atlantic City. So mid-December will be Atlantic City. So the ones that I don't tell you where it is because we haven't finalized anything with the sponsors, the local sponsors, the event coordinators, and it's kind of a business decision because we don't want to. Oh shoot! I didn't share screen. Oh, my bad. Totally my bad. So back up. I'm gonna do this. This is the screen where I'm telling you June 27 and August 8. It'll be somewhere on my screen. Those are the two that I cannot tell you where. But yeah. Man, I need to remember not to do that. But anyway. So yeah, so the reason if I release all and say, oh, we're gonna go to exactly this country, and then there is sort of like they have the leverage on us, like, oh, you've already announced, your fans already bought your plane tickets to come to this country, and so you shouldn't cancel, and thus we actually aren't gonna give you your sponsorship money, right? So that's why I won't announce the locations unless I'm very confident that we're not getting screwed. So that's what it is. So super apologize that I didn't share my screen. I keep doing. I don't know why this system doesn't automatically do it. So let's see. Match of the night bonus is terrible idea. It just promotes faking matches, which is terrible for the sport, and it won't actually create better matches. I thought about that, which is why I didn't want to create too much of an incentive that people actually will gun will kind of plan for it, right? Because the amount is $500, $500 for both athletes each. It's not enough to make somebody like, oh man, I need that $500. I'm gonna plan how to gamify and fake things out, right? It's more like if it ends up happening, it's another way because I like interactions and more content and just more conversation happening. And you know what ended up happening? Everybody was saying, dude, that's wrong because Yoshi's and Petro's match should be the match of the night. So there's a lot of that going on, and that's exactly what I want to do is just get conversations going. Get conversations going. So that's kind of how I'm trying to do. Uh let's see. Another one is asking about Sveftan again. Oh, yeah, it's the same guy. Have you considered a tip system so we can reward our favorite athlete at an event for their performance? Hmm, that's a good thing. Okay, so here's instead of tipping, I think it's less about tipping. I think it's more about the initial support. So one of the things that I've considered doing, maybe when the new system and we port everything over to our new e-commerce system, what I'd like to do is to keep track of pay-per-view buys based on athletes' promotion, their self-promotion, right? Now, obviously, the more popular athlete, say like Devin himself, will probably bring in, well, people give him a lot of credit for the reason why they bought the pay per view. But at the same time, it also allows me to have data to keep track of which athletes are up and coming, right? And this also tells me which athlete we should maybe spend more time promoting, right? So one of the whole athlete, well, one of the athlete has been a kind of an accidental rising star, really, is Rickard Borman, right? So he's also one of them that he he came on to EVW by a he was this close of never being on an EVW. Well, I wouldn't say never, but not this year at least, not this year. And that's I don't know if you guys heard that story, but it all came down to a phone call that I had with Rickard to confirm that he was not manipulating me. He was not manipulating EVW to get him a match. So it's what I'm saying is I need more data to see who I can give credit to. So with the new system, it will for sure do that. And then athletes will also make residual income from them pushing sales of sorts. So there's that. Everything someone does better than you is unfair. They just what that is. Let's see. Special guest. Let's see. Become the same politicians. Uh, yeah. I mean, that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. The only thing is introducing one more day for everybody to stay behind. And a lot of them usually say, uh, you know, for people to stay on Sunday for an extra Sunday, that might be a challenge because people have to spend that day to travel back to their country. I mean, that's from an athlete's perspective, that is not wrong because that allows him to fully focus on his match better, right? Whatever regimen he has, much better. So he's not wrong, but I could see VIPs also need to travel back and everything, and they'll use Sunday for it. Because if you think about, say, Switzerland, our event ended up, everybody being home at 2 a.m. So it's going to be a challenge. So just throwing it out there. Uh, let's see. Oh, my camera died. Let's see. Well, zoom without the camera for a second until I figure it out. Let's see. Please. Okay. Neil is the GOAT. Yeah, Neil's really the GOAT for announcing. I was embarrassed because I didn't know he was called Iron Mike. So he's constantly messaging me and kind of teaching me the ways of arm wrestling quite a bit. Um Also, any updates? Yeah. Yeah, I did mention that it was still it's not on my priority list to set up, to do an analysis between whether should we even do it in the first place. Is it a crowdfunding where anybody can put money in, or is it an interview list to see who is who we would like to bring in, to make sure that they are not competitors of ours, you just trying to steal information from us, right? Of us, you know. So there is that. Haven't figured that out yet, but not opposed to it. Not really not opposed to it. Let's see. So commentators. So spoke to Neil about this. If you notice, what Neil does is he will make all the announcement for this person is a national champion of Kazakhstan. But when a match has a Russian athlete, you know, both athletes will not be given any recognition from where they are from, at least until the whole war is over. We are very politically neutral. That's not our target. We have nothing to do with any geopolitics. We just want to focus on arm wrestling, right? We just want literally the best. We want the best. Let's let's see. Please let Uncle Todd pull in the USA upcoming. I want to see him pull in person. That's, I mean, that's not an unlikely thing. He has pulled in America a couple of times this year. I wouldn't see the reason why he wouldn't pull. The only thing I would say is this upcoming year, technically speaking, if you follow my dates, there are 8 events and 5 of them are in Europe. So we only have 3. However, we are actively looking for a event venue uh, on April 31st. So, matter of fact, tomorrow morning I have a meeting with uh, BlackRock, the big PE firm. They have venues around the country, and one of it is in Park City, Utah. So it might be an interesting thing. You can come to Park City, watch arm wrestling, and also spend the whole weekend skiing. Right. So something to consider that I am quite interested in. And okay, so remember how there was a question earlier today. Dexter, is King of Table done for good, or are you guys planning to bring back? So here's the big thing that I was talking to Robert, right? One thing about arm wrestling, I feel, is we have quite a bit of people that are in the realm of they've already had matches against each other, right? Like example, how many more Levon and Devin match do we want to see? There's only a certain limit, right? But when you start introducing a brand new format, which is what I'm trying to push internally, I haven't got any sort of confirmation that it is going to happen yet. But if we end up getting a venue in April, what I'd like to do is do a couple of things a little differently. One is complete new format, right? Not just normal super match style. East versus West will maintain the super match style, very professional, very polished, very clean, closer to what you've seen in the past. King of the Table, I would like a new format. Not It's not really it could be like a tournament style. It could be round robin style. It could be, it, I mean, it could be, double elimination style, right? But for instance, right now, obviously, this is all hypothetical. Like you have Levon, you have Devin, you have Ormes, and you have who did I miss from the top four? Vitali, right? So you have four of them. Now everybody knows that, well, Levon's the champion, right? Nobody's going to take that away from him. But when you introduce those four, now all of a sudden it's kind of unique now because now there's strategies. And the thing is, the athletes, they themselves don't even know the order of who they are pulling. So it all comes to the die roll at the beginning of the event. Now the strategy is all completely different now, right? Now it's, you need to be very versatile. You cannot be only training for one against one style. You need to be also thinking of endurance. You're thinking about, should I not even strain myself to hold on and just give up super early so I save my arm for the following match, right? So it starts changing things up dramatically. That's kind of, I think, how you could really shake up something for good, right? Something completely. Because right now Devin's number two, but if let's say Devin got burnt out by Levon bad, on the first round, he might lose to Hermes and he might also lose to Vitali, right? So if we go through that round robin thing. But what I'm saying is that's how we are thinking of keeping king of the table. So just throwing it out there. Let's see. Yes, unfortunately, there's another one that says no Asian events and no 24 events next year. Not yet, not yet, not yet. But you can see, like, I know a lot of people. I because I read mess. A lot of time I spend is actually just trying to gather data, and that is also just getting what the community is asking for. And one of it is event timings. People are saying, well, it's only a month away and I don't have enough time to plan for my trip to Atlantic City. So that's why I gave this sort of like schedule. It's very preliminary, just so people can get an idea of what we're doing. uh Asian is not in sight right now, just because we don't have sponsorships there. But I mean, somebody just sent us a video of, like, an African scene. Where is that country from? Hold on, let me look it up. But I am, like, extremely blown away. Oh, it's in Mali. They had a crazy crowd, right? They had a crazy crowd, and because of that, we were like, we got to do something in Africa as well. So Africa is one country we are really looking for. We think we have a way in. You know, we think we have a way in to kind of get into Africa. Not confirmed yet. So you know, there is that. Somebody's also asking about betting. Yeah, about betting. I was in Rome and I had a meeting, and this person is from Russia. Big fan, super big fan of strength and combat sport. He isn't like he doesn't know a lot about arm wrestling, but he knows enough because he knows it happens around him. Um, so working on things to see how we can actually collaborate and do something together. So exactly. Yeah, Rickard's the man. Absolutely. Uh, so just so everybody knows, the pay-per-view, if you go to live.evwsports.com, it is of a separate site compared to us, the rest of our page. So we don't control the checkouts over there. It goes straight into the broadcast team. And we have a lot less control on that front, which is why creating codes and having it, uh, you know, we give them any sort of a credit, so to speak. It's not the easiest because we'll have to spend. Other team has to go work on the integration. It's just from a text perspective, it's very challenging. So yeah, what's happening? My camera. Really, it's kind of annoying. Let me just keep going for now until I think I don't have my main camera. I'm just using my backup camera, which is probably, I think it's overheating. Let's see. They should invest a little bit more in marketing. So arm wrestling. Okay, so somebody's mentioning this. We should invest more in marketing. Maybe you guys can give me ideas on what kind of marketing you guys are thinking of. Because when we tested once for like Facebook ads, it didn't really do very much for us because it feels a very niche thing that somebody's not going to buy the pay-per-view, right? Just after watching an ad. So my opinion is that any money that we use for marketing should go towards example like this time. I don't know if Michael has mentioned this, but we are gonna be having Coach Ray go and fly to Michael's place to do videos, interview, behind the scenes, any kind of content. So those content would generate, I think, more interest in something because now people are more emotionally connected to Michael, and they don't just see him as, oh, that guy is the King's Mover under the table guy. Right now, it's like, oh, this guy is actually, a husband. He's also a grandfather. He's also a dog lover, and I'm a dog lover. So, oh, maybe I connect him with him that way. So, I think those are money better spent than just ad money. So, but if you have other ideas, happy to hear about this. Love to get feedback as well. Let's see. Yes, I did talk about the practice footage. It will be released as soon as we get all cameras, the footage from all cameras. So by banning the Russian flag like that, you're playing politics and not playing neutral. No, 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 no. We have no flags. That's how you stay neutral. So, um, talking about this, Jay Corbin's asking about East versus West, who's better and everything. I think because of the whole maybe the drama that happened a couple months ago, uh, I really we had a big change in our mentality that it should, because this sport is too small, in my opinion, right? This sport is too small for us to be thinking of, hey, it's East versus West. It's still too small, in my opinion. There's not the wall isn't the wall is, I know it's huge, but the sport is still relatively small, and we cannot break up. If we break up, I mean, the sport will set us back years and years of building and growing. So now that name is just a legacy name and not really anything to do with rivalry. If you see, I think Chicago was the last. Oh, matter of fact, I think I'm wearing it. Oh, Chicago is the last East versus West that has two two-tone jersey. For that very reason, because we wanted to make sure that it seemed as it's not you're from East, you're from West. It's you're all an arm wrestler under EVW Sports. That's kind of how I'm looking at things. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think the sport's just too small to try to segregate that way. And also, to be fair, I think the West is actually climbing, but you know maybe I'm from the East, so I think the East is currently they have more higher level athletes there for the time being. So not quite as balanced. And Vitaly knocked out two those. Uh, maybe that's why I think Devon would be the last stronghold against Lalatin, right? Yeah, well, I mean, not that was just an example. I know Levon does not want to do round robins because he thinks that there might be some strategy where people would all target him to take him down. So, you know, they'll play politics and play some other non-arm wrestling games. Yeah, it was just an example, but especially the low weight class guys, there's so many strong ones. I think it'd be super cool to see who comes up on top. So let's see. Molly were going crazy doing rolls. Dude, Molly is super legit. Yeah, and another one's talking about VIP pay-per-viewers. I would love to see how that worked out. So just so you know, currently we have the technology to allow fans to select. So you know how we have like 10 cameras, right? We have 10 cameras, uh, but we only show you what we call program feed, which is what the director selects as the camera of choice currently, right? And then is it, you know, this camera, camera one, camera two, camera three, etc. Now, there is also a function that allows the fans to say, you know what, I want to see my own channel. I don't want to see the replays. I want to see what's happening on the table right now. And the athletes, no, you guys can actually pick and choose. The only thing every time we do that, it costs us, I think about like $5,000 extra to set that all up. And that's not something, I mean, it's $5,000. So it's not something I want to do right now. So there is that. But I mean, if there's enough, what I could do is maybe for Vienna, we try it. I'll have some sort of a special perk for VIPs. And then with that data, I see there's enough interest that people are willing to pay extra for VIP, feed. Then perhaps I can introduce that. And also, there's a function that allows us to have multi audio channels, so people could have, say, a commentator, a Russian commentator, a Georgian commentator, whatever, and they can just pick and choose. That way, it's what we call localization for all the fans around the world, right? Maybe that will help pay-per-view sales. Totally will help pay-per-view sales. Um, Also, for King of Table, if we do that, it will be perhaps we might make it into a slightly lower production, because honestly, our production cost is absolutely crazy right now. It is six figures in our last event. It's way too high, way too high. And so we are looking to purchase equipment. So if anybody out there has a discount code for whatever on bigger equipment, let me know. Happy to utilize them. But so when we buy our own equipment, hopefully it drops our price, and also we might give up a few functions just so that we can operate in a faster way. Example, one of it that's really expensive is a replay system. So anytime we want to use a replay, that's going to be extra. The other one would be graphics. So when we have a graphics guy, that's also another guy. I'm just throwing out that there's a lot of different moving parts that we're trying to see if we can move. We have more events, but at a slightly lower kind of production style. So yes, so yeah, Jay Corbin, you're right. So Ray and Tina does have a traveling budget. So this time it will be focus is Michael Todd. And if he has time, I kind of told him like he can even look into getting to Paul Lynn's place. Try to get some footage there, and hopefully push into uh our just before our main event. Just before December 13th, so people can get hyped up and see Michael's training and whatnot. I everybody thinks Michael's gonna has it in the bag, but the more I talk to Robert, and the more he comes, look at all of Georgi's past achievement, and you'll be pleasantly surprised that he's no slouch. It'll be a very, very good match. So yes, Ricker is pulling Schoolboy. So Schoolboy got his US visa a couple of weeks ago, and so he'll be pulling left and right. Let's see. Kirill Sarichev would be also another one that from I think the first time I met him was I think EVW 15, I think. So that's who Robert kind of introduced me to him, and that guy is also another Siberian monster looking thing. He is in the level of Lalatin in terms of his stature. So another good one. Here's another idea for VIP pay-per-views: could be having commentators have a chat in which they can only read the comments of VIP pay-per-viewers. Ooh, that's a really good idea. Really good idea. But for, say, the commentators to be reading off the comments of the VIPs, like how much would people pay for a VIP perk like that, right? How much would people pay for that? You know, put it down here. I'm just curious. Is it 40? Is it 50? Is it 60? 100? I don't know. Just something to consider. Let's see. Better get that Black Friday funding for equipment. A lot of the equipment that we are purchasing, they're not, they're commercial grade. So I don't know how much Black Friday, uh, you know, it is going to be. But so there's that. I don't think around, yeah. Adam Silver. When's my match against you? Adam, it was right after, your visit to the hospital and you had the tummy ache. That's, but you bailed on me, buddy. That's funny. Adam Silver's in a house. I would pay for a pay-per-view chat. $50. Huh. Okay. $50 minimum. I like it. VIP pay-per-view chat. Let's see. I'm gonna put it in my notes here. VIP pay-per-view special chat. Let's see. Oh, also, just so you know, the timings for preliminaries will start at noon Eastern time. And because we have 3 matches, we'll probably go about an hour plus, really. And then right after that, we will have like a pre-show where commentators will be talking about, uh, potential, what they expect to see, maybe some analysis on the prior 3 matches, but also a lot of analysis on what is going to happen, get people hyped up. And then just before the main event section will to start, the YouTube portion will probably turn it off, and we'll have a short break so we can do that transition. But it should be live on pay-per-view and YouTube simultaneously, but the YouTube will end at about 2 p.m. Eastern time. That's when it will only be on the pay-per-view. So if you got a pay-per-view, you can just log into pay-per-view anyway, or YouTube, doesn't matter. I would say YouTube might be better because you probably have a lot more people there, and then you can have, the chat is probably a lot more relevant. So then at 2 p.m., just make sure you switch over to the pay-per-view. Uh, yeah, absolutely. So we got Tail coming. I just got off the confirmation with his manager on Friday. On Friday, and I'm actually trying to arrange something because I know he has interest in arm wrestling. I'm trying to arrange something where, perhaps probably with Devin because he's not pulling, and so he has time. Oh man, did I just announce that he's not pulling? Yeah, Devin's not pulling. So then, Devin can fly to Chael's place, or Chael can fly to Devin's house. We'll do a lot of recording there to kind of, show how Devin trains a brand new guy from scratch, Chael. And I think that would be super awesome content for both of them. And so Chael will understand kind of the basics of, what top roll is, what a hook is, what a king's move is, and some of the basic rules. I think that'd be super fun, super fun. So also pay-per-views, you have access to live crowd reactions. I like it. I like it. I like it. I might figure that out. Pay-per-view chat votes on MVP as bonus. Wow. Okay. So a lot of people are trying to say that, but maybe it's silly for marketing. But so MBS is saying maybe it's silly for marketing, but you could put massive posters around the street, around the venue weeks before the event. Usually, though, trying to think which event that we have gone that has not sold out. I think the only one that has not sold out was Colorado. Every event that we had this year, oh, sorry, another one, Istanbul. But every event that we had this year, our in-person completely sold out. So in the past, uh, the revenue from in-person has been like under 20% of our total revenue. But as of late, it has been growing and growing and growing, especially since pay-per-view numbers isn't quite there, but our in-person crowd has climbed, right? So it's not 50-50, right? But it's quite a bit. So that's why anywhere we go right now, we always have to think what our in-person crowd's going to be and how much revenue we can actually get from our in-person ticket sales. So, but you're not wrong. You are not wrong. Uh, I don't know what that is. Let's see. Do we have to wait for May to see Hermes compete again? So I think Hermes mentioned, but he just had his hair transplant, and he's very worried of even remotely, affecting it, which is why he's taking a break. But he's ready to start, training again shortly. Uh, I think it might still be May. I don't know. It's sometimes it's not up to us. Sometimes it's up to the the athlete themselves. Now, the you know, I know there are some people who's like, well, sometimes the athlete wants to pull, but we can give them a match. It also kind of it's a balance between what's available for them to pull, because you know if who would Armis pull that people would care about, right? Because if the ones that we think would have a good match against him that people cared about aren't available, then no sense in forcing, to have Hermes back, right? Essentially. So, I mean, I constantly get a whole bunch of messages just asking when is my turn to bowl, right? Unfortunately, it's kind of a balance of having the right matches for both people, right? So there's that. Here's another marketing idea for improving astrology. Send the headliners of the free card to the city of the event a month or so in advance and have them wander around the city to try to get people to support them in their match. Well, unfortunately, in this case, a lot of our athletes aren't full-time arm wrestlers. They have a day job, and you know, a lot of them are like in and out. Like they come in on Wednesday evening or Thursday morning, and then as soon as the event's over, either the following day or some of them even that night itself, they're out. Right? They have to fly out to go get back to work. Right? So what I wanted to do in Chicago was to get our table out there right next to the bean, set up the table, and have crazy content, just people pulling, in the middle of the street, right? But it's not not quite the easiest, not quite the easiest to set that up. Uh, oh, well, thank you for being a new member. Adamantium says, I work as a recruiter and organizer for the American Labor Union. Trust me, if you got the money, you can do plenty of seeding and get the word out there. EVW isn't a big business yet. Yes. So the one thing that many people assume is that East versus West is now a massive organization, and therefore we need to. Everybody's putting us on a very high standard. But now something to think about as well is we're not quite there yet. We're still a very small team. Revenue is not where we want it to be yet, right? And compared to UFC, you're probably like 100 times or maybe 1,000 times smaller. But we want to be there. So we're doing everything we can in order to uh, be there with the best value. Example, right? You know, let's say somebody says, let's use a car analogy, and they say, okay, Dexter, here is a Honda Civic. Oh no, here is a Honda Civic, and I need you to get this up to 0-60 under 3 seconds. Okay, so that's the goal. They don't really give me a budget, but it's more along the lines of do it as cheap as you can. Okay, so I think, okay, well, I'm gonna put in maybe a brand new intercooler, a brand new turbo, and let's try it. Okay, so I spend that money, and it's now 3.5 seconds. I don't make it. Okay, but I didn't spend too much money. So now the next trial, which I'm gonna try. Okay, maybe now let's do a stage 2 turbo, right? And I'm gonna change the exhaust as well, right? I'm just adding a few more things in there, and let's see where it goes. Okay, boom, it's now 3.2 seconds. Still not quite there yet, and I'm very confident. Now I'm gonna put in brand new tires. I'm gonna change everything carbon fiber, spend a little bit more money, and where do I get it? 3.05. Okay, then finally I get it to 2.9. Great. Okay. How this analogy works out is that earlier when we just first took over, because we don't want to overspend, because I could just say, hey, you know what, let's just put in the works. Let's spend, hundreds of $1,000s on the car, and boom, it now becomes a 1.6 second car, right? Total possible. But that's not the way to do things when you're a small company. You always want to incrementally improve. That way you don't over improve by spending too much money. So which is why, from a production standpoint, right, even small little things that most people don't see end up taking a lot of time and money and research from our end to make sure that you guys it's a fine line between best bang for your buck. It's essentially. So right now I think we've hit that level of production that we feel is, I think everybody's happy, right? Everybody's happy without going too nuts on extra features that no people might not care as much as, right? So that's kind of like why it takes us a while to get to where we are, uh because it's a budgetary issue. Now, if all of a sudden somebody drops $10 million on my lap, then it will be a lot easier, because then we have money to kind of burn. We could go the reverse route, right? We could have 1.6 second car, and then we work out our way back. But when you're starting, like for any business at all, you always want to start from the low end and slowly climb up. So, uh, question is, will we see Gennady back on EVW stage, or is he not responding regarding his own league? Well, I mean, in the press conference, he was on our chat. I don't know if you guys saw, but he was on our live chat, taunting our athletes, trying to get them to pull him. But because of his actions, of a few that anybody who's involved in his league, they all have a one-time pass. And anybody who's doing more than a one-time thing would be not invited back. It's going to be very, very difficult for us to see how we can invite people like him back. So there is that. Um, do I follow UFC and MMA? And also, have you looked into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu scene? It's kind of similar sport to arm wrestling, and it has interesting tournament ideas. I follow UFC. Did you watch the match last night? That's a better question. That was wild. That's big match. So every time when I don't, I think I've mentioned this, when I have a question and I don't know how to answer it, I'll always revert. What does Dana White do? And then I'll see if I can kind of port that over to EVW. So for marketing, you could also get EVW athletes to go out to the streets and offer $500,000 whoever beats them schoolboy style, and then show them EVW content, and maybe also. Well, here's the question though, right? To do that, we need to have athletes who are not pulling, because we cannot use athletes who are pulling, a couple of days later to be out on the streets, getting hurt. So that's kind of a big challenge that we struggle a little bit. So that's why, yeah. So easiest way to network is to keep bringing in strength influencers. I think we are doing that. I mean, Neil's podcast a couple hours ago just did the exact same thing. But I think we want to also include more combat sport guys too, not just strength sport, but combat sport. So like Chael Sonnen would be pretty good. Any other UFC, I know Benji's working on Tito Ortiz. So there's a lot of things happening. I think we also got one that I've been talking to, Bob Sapp. So I think somebody hit me up and introduced me to Bob Sapp. So I've spoken to him. If he's interested, happy to bring him in. He's pretty good shape at 50. So gonna yeah, that's right. I mean, Gennady chose his path. It's really he you cannot expect us to just have somebody backstab us and allow him to come back. So uh again, this is a hypothetical thing. A hypothetical. I'm just giving an example of if somebody gives me a lot of money to use in this manner. Yeah, sure, I can burn it and test it that way. But when you're trying to be very you want to be fiscally responsible, you want to go up this way. So uh so there's that. Now this one is going to be what, are you and Robert maintain good feelings with Ingrid? I think I don't talk to Ingrid. I think he must have blocked me or something. Well, maybe not. I think he unblocked me because we were talking about some domain stuff. Robert is I think they kind of work things out a little bit. So I think we are in speaking conditions with Ingen. That's I wouldn't say good or bad. Like for instance, Ingen's match with Artur Makarov, Robert signed off on it. So there is that. So it's that level. It's not terrible or anything. It's just I would say a little bit better than neutral, but I wouldn't say they're best friends right now. Not like before, obviously, but I mean better than nothing, I would say. Yes, UFC took a long time to get to where they are today, so I hope people will be a little bit more patient with some of the things that we do. But yeah, DJ Constantine, drink more Gold Star coffee. Hey, since you guys saw Gold Star's new ad, you guys, if you guys have any comment, put it down here because the owner of Gold Star is in the house. He's in the house. He's Bob said, yeah. Yeah, I think Bob's now based out of he told me he's based out of Thailand. So super cool. I might go check him out next month or something. But let's see. Yeah, we thought about it, but I think there was a kind of a risk. The risk was because of the whole community was kind of against that idea. We didn't want to risk anything. It is a pretty good match, but it's kind of a risk. So, oh, Ronda Rousey, she's been getting a lot of, she's been going against Dana lately. So pretty crazy, pretty crazy. Um, I hope Histro is on the one-time pass list, although I think he backs every time. Okay, so Crystal is one who accepted GVW's invite before, like he was one of the first to accept. So he didn't know anything about the whole thing, and he didn't feel like his word was his bond kind of thing. But in Switzerland, prior to Switzerland, he also kind of clarified, like, and also in Switzerland, he came up to me and was like, dude, I really didn't know anything about at that time. I hope you understand my position, and I have no intent of going back there. And so he gave a lot of promises. So that there wasn't any, so he was on the one-time pass list, which is why he was in Switzerland. So yeah, this is something I would like to also clarify. A lot of the things that we do cannot be done without sponsorships, and Gold Star has been a consistent supporter, and I can't thank Constantine enough. Not only that, he's also the guy responsible in giving me ideas on things that we can improve on and how we can make East versus West better. Example, you see this logo right here? In most companies, something that my competitor doesn't even know, because I never told them the reason why we did was this logo. If you see, it's so much higher on the sleeve than here is because now I don't have any biceps whatsoever, but assuming I have a lot of biceps, right? When people curl up or like flex or whatever, this starts to get wrinkled, right? It gets wrinkled. But because of our new design, you can see even if it curls up, you can still see the sponsors logo, right? And all this information was because I had conversations with Constantine, owner of Gold Star, who told me, "Hey, I can't see my logo. We got to figure it out." So that's that's exactly what, you know, kind of things that over time I learned from the community, from him. And so I'd like to thank, this time we had great sponsors. We have Luca from Triple X. He's sponsored big time. We have Grip Arm Sports, Adam, he's such a good buddy. I mean, he's such a good supporter. Titan Grip, who provided table, and none other than Glenn with Infinity Performance. He's also, I think he's gonna kill it. Okay, I think he's also wise. He's gonna start dominating arm wrestling. In if you guys need any kind of like nutritional or supplement questions or anything, go check out Glenn. He is, you know how interesting. There was a couple of incidents. I won't mention exactly what happened because that might be a little bit too private. But we had people fainting at the event, and we had Doctor Dr. Cochran in the VIP seat watching the match. I was like, oh, hey, we need a doctor right now. Somebody just fainted, right? Yeah, and there was more than one medical event that happened in Switzerland, and so it was great that he was able to attend with his new wife. So I know he's newly married. So super cool guy. All the sponsors that we end up working, we have a pretty good relationship with all of them. Like, there's not one that I wish that, please don't call me, I don't want to talk to you, that kind of thing. It's like everyone is like, let's chat. Like Gold Star, Glenn, sorry, Constantine, I could talk to him for 6 hours straight, not a problem. I think our longest conversation was over 5 hours straight. So yeah, Gold Star Coffee. Support him is another way of supporting East versus West. Just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there. Put those guns away. Not yet, at least, huh? Not yet. The guns are all in my brain right here. That's all. I'm like, oh, you know what though? I need to do this. Last week I couldn't do it because the internet was kind of crappy. But let's do this. The person who got, let's see, newest, who got my IQ right. I owe you something. So it's 159 is my answer. Sanctuary is close. There's one who got the number nailed. Okay, Major Foul Torque. You got it 159. So Major Foul Torque, send me an email at Dexter at EVW Sports, and I will mail you a prize for guessing it correctly. So yeah, so that's my guns. I don't so auction the table sign by. Oh, guys, we have something that we're gonna auction pretty quickly. It's gonna be super cool. When the athletes were signing sort of like the posters, right? So we have the autograph shirt. There was one that was misprinted and it was given to us for free, and it was all kind of weird because half the image was at the bottom and everything. And then Devin, being Devin, he ends up start coloring things, right? He starts coloring and making faces and sunglasses of people, the devil's horn. And so we have this Picasso-ish like autograph thing. I haven't figured out what to do with it, but I think I'm gonna put it on eBay. Okay. And then the proceeds, I haven't figured out what to do with the proceeds just quite yet. I might do it for an interesting cause, and maybe it's to fund the match of the night. I don't know yet, but I'm gonna think of a good one. But for a fact, I think that's things that are cool that we could do for every event. So autograph table, that's also one, but we need to have a lot more tables, um, and it's quite a bit of match to quite a bit of work to kind of mail those over. Yes, 159. I am I don't know. It's not on the wall. I didn't hang my stuff on the wall. But yeah, I got a Mensa membership and everything. I think the minimum Mensa membership is 135. So Picasso, yeah, the Picasso shirt. I think there was a picture of it floating around. So trading cards will be back, and it will be back super good. It will. I'm trying to push where it'll be released I was really hoping that it would be released by Black Friday, but unfortunately, we are not quite there yet. And guys, st- uh, uh, this will be a good time to announce it. But starting this year, we will have a Black Friday sale. We will have a Black Friday sale. Now, most of the sale would be revolving around the older merchandise. Okay, mostly the older merchandise that has the largest discount, up to 80% off our store. Okay, so let that sink in for a second. Up to 80% on some stuff. Maybe we have some in the 50% and whatnot. So keep that in mind. Uh, our website is still built in the old system, so it might crash. But because of that, we're gonna start the sale on Monday the 24th. Okay. So Monday the 24th, we're gonna have a Black Friday sale. So get your credit cards out ready, because it'll be, if you miss one of our event jerseys, we will not print them again. And once it's sold out, it's sold out. We are restocking Switzerland. So stay tuned. We will be restocking Switzerland in time for uh in time for the Black Friday sale. So just think of it for a second. We will have a Black Friday sale. Very weird, and the only thing that we can really do a sale on is shipping. Shipping is not kind of nothing I can do about it, unfortunately. So no, Albert Einstein. I always know that he is 3 points higher than mine. Now, to be fair though, I took that test many years ago, so my IQ might have dropped since then. Especially, like, I know for a fact my reading speed has dropped. It's no longer at the 2,000 plus words per minute. I feel I haven't tested it myself, but it's nowhere close. Uh, oh, I think one's vertical and one is horizontal, but that's about it. And okay, so one last thing before I want to mention is like and subscribe and share this video. Lots of cool things for everybody who did not join me today. Very likely, just go to Tom Stubblebine's video. His channel, and he'll probably do some sort of like a recap. And for everybody else, thank you for joining me. It's something that I look forward to talk to you guys, all my super good buddies. I hope to meet you guys one day. Unfortunately, I won't be in Atlantic City. Still going to be a crazy good event. But if you guys are ever in the area, in Salt Lake City area, shoot me a message if you want to go out for lunch or whatever. Let me know. Super love to meet you guys. I'll be in Hong Kong in next year, maybe definitely in Malaysia as well, maybe in Thailand. So for everybody else, love you guys.